to this edition of webinar. DME Media School, Delhi Metropolitan Education started doing this webinar in April, and even I was not sure that the things will move so fast and in such a manner wherein everybody will join gradually. So over the months, I mean last 2 months, more and more people kept joining us. And if I kept or if I count by number, this is the 18th webinar that DME Media School is organizing. We always try to find such topics and such experts which could give us something new, some addition to the existing knowledge. And so far we have been successful in that, and I have got a lot of cooperation from media educators, researchers, journalists, and media professionals all over. And as far as the participants is concerned, this is really astonishing that people join from every part of the country normally, and these include the students and PhD scholars as well. So this is a little contribution that we all can jointly do in this difficult time of COVID-19 to all of us. So the topic that has been decided for today's webinar is information pandemic during COVID-19. So this is a topic because we earlier also we did a session on fake news with Professor Umesh Arya, but then more queries I received that something on this fake news should be there further. And obviously we all understand that this is a problem which is affecting us all, whichever profession we are, whichever segment of society we belong to. But this is something because not only in the digital media or not only in that kind of unregulated media on the digital space wherein we have no control or the government has no control, even the conventional media, the mainstream media, that has also been involved in fake news. So when I talked to Dr. Ankuran Datta, he readily agreed to be in this webinar, and he himself suggested when I discussed with him this particular topic, which is information pandemic. And incidentally, many people have asked me since the time for the last 3 days we have started circulating invite for this webinar as to what does exactly is meant by information pandemic. So this is really, I mean, wherein people are getting curious as to what the whole thing is about and what all we are going to discuss in this. So at the outset, I welcome Dr. Ankuran Datta in this session, and I feel obliged that he spared time to be with us and to talk on an issue which is an area of interest of us all. Thank you, Dr. Ankuran Datta, to be here.
Thank you so much, Professor Saxena.
So to begin with, if I can request you, since we have decided this topic, information pandemic. So can you initially clarify to the benefit of all those who are there in this session, what exactly is meant by information pandemic?
Yeah, thank you so much. This is a very nice question. So basically, we all know about this situation of pandemic, and some of the terms, pandemic, epidemic, all these terms are very popular nowadays with all of us. And the entire situation is really very suffocating for all because we are inside the house for a long time. So the information pandemic during the same global pandemic, health pandemic, at the same time also we have another concept called information pandemic, or we can call it as infodemic. So infodemic, the term has been given by WHO in the month of March, because there are lots of people are engaged in spreading lots of fake information or information disorder during this time. And the entire, all these information disorder, all the parts, all the types of information disorder, or the fake news or rumor, whatever you want to say. So all these we can call as information pandemic. So it is basically infodemic. I can, I have a small presentation also. So I'll discuss later about some different types of information disorder and what I would like to mean by information pandemic.
Okay. So you please go ahead with your presentation first, and then we will discuss other things.
Okay. Okay. Thank you so much. So, actually, I have seen that there are lots of media educators are also available here in this session, and basically the entire presentation was made for the students. I'll go fast, and I'll also skip a few slides if it is not relevant for all. Okay, so this is information pandemic during COVID-19, and I would like to dedicate this presentation also to Dr. Namikari. So now information, I'm just giving you a very nice quotation here. And the quotation is, sorry, I think it is.
Yeah, please go ahead.
Okay, just a minute. I'm just getting it up a little. Yeah, the quotation is given by a former US president. He mentioned that information is the oxygen in the modern era. So in the modern time, we really believe that information is like it is like oxygen for all of us. And pandemic, all of us, we know about the pandemic, and because of this coronavirus, earlier the epidemic, the concept of epidemic was very popular among all of us, but nowadays pandemic, it is a global scenario, so it is very popular among all the people. And pandemic is an epidemic occurring worldwide over a very wide area, crossing international borders. So I have just given here one cartoon. So who travels faster, you or me? So it is so what I can do, just give me 1 minute, because I think this, is it visible now?
Yeah, it's fine.
Okay.
Mhm.
So in this cartoon, actually, we did a campaign called Check the Fake. I'll just inform about the campaign later. But here, there were two characters. One is pandemic and other is infodemic. So pandemic, as I told, that it is coronavirus, and infodemic is information pandemic. And coronavirus asks here to the infodemic that who travels faster, you or me? Then infodemic says that of course me, because it was we just produced this cartoon in the month of April. So during that time, it was 15 lakhs in 4 months, the coronavirus total number, the number of coronavirus means people who are affected with coronavirus were 15 lakhs, and now we have nearly 55 lakhs. So fake news spreads to million in no time, but to spread coronavirus, it took nearly 4 months to reach 15 lakhs people. But a fake news can be reached to the people in a just fraction of second. So what is infodemic basically? It refers to the information pandemic, that is information disorder. And with a sea of misinformation flooded around the novel coronavirus, these days have been painted as a time of fake news and rumor on the social media. And a report of the Council of Europe describes about the different types of information disorder. These are misinformation, disinformation, and malinformation. I think all of you know about these types, and I'm not going to discuss about these types. And there are a very thin line difference among all these terms, in misinformation, disinformation, and malinformation. That is why we can just call it with an umbrella term called fake news nowadays. Fake news was there earlier also, but it is very popular after the US president when he coined and reused this term in a very wide manner. Okay, so fake news, I have just given another definition here. that fake news is information deliberately fabricated and published with the intention to deceive and mislead others into believing falsehood and doubting verifiable facts. Who spreads fake news? This is a very important question during this time, that we have lots of conspiracy theories which are viral in the social media, and also misinformation and the speculation about coronavirus have flooded in all the platforms of social media. But who starts this rumor and who spreads them? This is very important question, and I have gone through, I have just given also one source here, that I have gone through one article. It is published in BBC, and they have mentioned 7 types of people who are associated with spreading of rumors and misinformation. And it is very important that out of all these persons, that misinformation doesn't just come from the dark corners of the internet. Many known faces are also associated with this concept, because there are so many political leaders are also associated in spreading fake news. Celebrities are associated, lots of people, and they may know that whether that information what they are spreading, whether it is true or not, but or intentionally or unintentionally, but they are also spreading the information to the common people, and which reaches millions and millions of people in a minute. So I would like to give another cartoon here. So here the pandemic or the coronavirus, he says that people help me by not doing social distancing or physical distancing. And infodemic, that is a fake news or information disorder, he says that people help me by forwarding on social media. Okay, so we in India particularly, and also you can say in the Southeastern region, so we start the day with forwarding lots of WhatsApp messages to many people, right? And always we believe that this information are very helpful, and we are creating an awareness on the coronavirus or COVID-19 among the people. But the concept is completely different. It is, we are not helping them, but we are harming them, right? It creates lots of panic situation among the common people. So why they spread fake news? This is another question that already we can understand that there are some people who always spread fake news, but why they do so? So number one is that they are looking to make money from this pandemic. So this is the pandemic. There is a crash in the economic situation worldwide, not only in the country but in the entire globe. And at the same time, some people are there who want to make money from this pandemic, from this COVID-19. So that is number one reason, I believe. And secondly, some are looking for more likes and emoji on their social media posts. Some people, they are not concerned about the monetization, but they want more likes or more emoji or more comments on their social media posts. And also some people get some sadistic pleasure that if he or she spreads some wrong information, and if there are a panic situation, and some people enjoy that particular situation. Okay, so these are a few reasons among many other reasons, but these are a few reasons why they spread fake news. I am giving you another cartoon here. So every minute, millions of fake news are forwarded in the world. And pandemic is asking infodemic that how many did you contribute today? So please ask all of us, we should ask ourselves that how many messages I forwarded today or yesterday. Okay, so we intentionally, or we do sometimes we do not know that whether that particular news is actual news or a fake news, but we generally want to forward to help the other people. That is the wrong notion with all of us. Now we have to, this is the time that as no antidote is available nowadays, so until today, so only way is that we have to maintain our hygiene, right? And to maintain the hygiene, the most important thing is that we have to sanitize our hands frequently or wash our hands. Not only washing our hands enough at this moment, we have to sanitize our minds too. We need to sanitize our minds by verifying the facts of information flooded on the different platforms of social media about COVID-19. Therefore, it has become as important to flatten the curve of the infodemic as to flatten the curve of COVID-19. It is very, very important that what we have to do, we have to rethink again and again that before forwarding or before spreading any misinformation or rumor to the people. And if we are not sure that whether that information is authentic information or not, in that particular situation, I personally believe that we should avoid ourselves from forwarding that kind of messages to many people. So what to do? Filter belief facts or distorted facts to get checked facts through media literacy. In India, there are different kinds of people. Digital divide is still there. Lots of people are away from digital platform. They're unable to go through, unable to check any kind of digital media. There are thousands and thousands of people are still there who cannot have a smartphone. Even in those, there are lots of places are available where electricity facility is not there. There is no surface communication. So that is a different kind of people. And we have another kind of people, that is, they are the newly digitally literate people. So the most dangerous situation arises from them, these newly digitally literate people. And there are some homo digitalis. So homo digitalis are expert, okay, or prosumers. Homo digitalis are expert in this particular field, and they know, and if they spread any news, then it is very, very intentional. But the newly digitally literate people, they do not know whether that is a authentic news or unauthentic. I would like to give you an example here. I think you could remember that there was a WHO protocol on lockdown. So it was viral in the month of April. It was viral like anything. So it claimed that WHO has given a protocol that how lockdown can be observed or how lockdown can be administered in different countries. First, it should be 15 days, then it should be 21 days, then 5 days free, and after that again it will be for 28 days, like similar kind of thing. And they also put the logo of WHO, emblem of the WHO, and it looks like an official statement of World Health Organization. So many people circulated, and even I received that kind of messages from very top level official, government official also, but that was fake news. So we have to check the facts through media literacy before we spread that message or we send or forward that message to other people. I have given here 5 Ds to sanitize the mind and 5 Cs to sanitize the mind. The 5 Ds are: discard unquoted stories, disbelieve non-official stories, discourage fake news forward, dismiss photograph without verifying, develop critical thinking. These are 5 Ds to sanitize the mind, and these are 5 Cs to sanitize our mind. Again, curtail excessive news content. Now we do not have society like information poor society or information rich society. Now we have a society where information is overloaded. So curtail excessive news content, then contact near and dear ones, contain fear and anxiety, create new projects, new hobbies, and curb fake news infodemic. So how to check facts? I think already, as Professor Saxena has mentioned, that Professor Umesh Arya took already a session, and I don't think that I should go through again. Sorry. how to check or recheck the data with the traditional or online tools. So I'm just going to skip this particular slide. Then there is laws. What are the laws associated with the fake news or rumor in the country? So I have given here another cartoon. 100 cases, over 100 cases registered in India for fake news post on coronavirus. Then Infodemic is saying that I offer free trip to the jail during lockdown for spreading fake news. And pandemic is saying that very cool. Okay, so lots of people, hundreds of people were arrested during this time by different state for spreading fake news. And so world perspective is a little different. And there are in many countries, I think all of you know about that many countries have their own laws on the on fake news or the misinformation or rumor. So last year only Singapore and Russia passed anti-fake news laws that gives the government power to order social media sites to block and remove fake content from their platform. So there are some other there are some existing laws also available in China, in Kenya, then France, then Cambodia, Vietnam, Malaysia, etc. And many countries have also created task force to combat fake news, in Canada, Congo, Sweden, Spain, Pakistan, Oman, etc. These countries already created task force. But in India, so we have, whenever we want to say anything, that there is our fundamental right also comes there, Article 19(1)(a) of the Constitution of India. But we do not know that we have also Article 19(2), that is the reasonable restrictions on the fundamental rights, okay, or particularly the freedom of speech and expression. But there are some laws are available. For example, Information Technology Act of 2000, National Cyber Security Policy of 2013, then Indian Penal Code section 153 and 295. And also nowadays, National Disaster Management Act is also there. And one private bill was also placed in the parliament in last winter session, that is Fake News Prohibition Bill in 2019, but it is a private bill. It is not a government bill. So these are some provisions already available with us. I would like to tell you very briefly about the project Check the Fake. So we had actually a project for a month-long project. It was started from 1st of April to 30th of April, and we raised lots of issues, lots of information regarding fake news on coronavirus, and the journey of coming up with an issue of fake news and rumor on COVID-19 each day hasn't been that tough. For their lies and ample of sources that has traced and tracked this misinformation and rectified it already. But the most important thing, most important and most interesting part is rather the most difficult part for this project was to take the same issue among the people in the most informative way, most educative way, and also most entertaining way, underlying the importance of the awareness among the people on COVID-19. And as I mentioned earlier also, that we created, basically the entire campaign was through two exclusive cartoon characters or protagonists, that is Infodemic and Pandemic, beautifully represented by their own characteristics. Okay, and the character of Pandemic, what we wanted to show in this particular cartoon series or the campaign, that the character of Pandemic is full of patience, confident, as it knows that it has the power to destroy the world slowly and steadily, one day or the other, since no antidote is discovered till today. And while the Infodemic may be characterized by the overconfidence, witty, mischief, and stubborn, as it knows all the tactics to bind the people into its clutch. So both the characters became very, very popular, and I'm very happy that lots of national media also covered this entire campaign. And I'm just going to end my presentation here that we are going to, this is an announcement that we are going to launch this book that is Break the Fake Tunes, a campaign against infodemic. So I think by this week itself, we are going to launch this book. So thank you so much for giving me this opportunity. This is a small presentation, and after that, I'll be happy to answer the question of the participants.
Uh, Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Ankuran Datta. Before proceeding further, there was a very nice presentation, and definitely it gave a very vivid picture of the right from misinformation to the fake news. Though we all are familiar with the concept, but the way you added certain things to give us more clarity. So I'm really thankful for you for this. But then since you personally have been working a lot in this area, so this was an academic presentation, nice presentation, but I would like to listen something from you, the work that you have been doing on the ground to meet this challenge of fake news.
See, the most important thing is that media literacy is very, very important for all of us. And as I told that we have different categories of people in the society. Some are deprived from digital platforms, some are newly literate, some are conversant with the digital platform, and some are homo digitalis who are very, very expert in the digital platforms. So what we wanted to do, and at the beginning, actually, when we started this campaign in the month of March, so during that time, we believe that how we can create an awareness among the people, that be aware of the different kind of information, because lots of information were there when government just before going to announce the lockdown, and there was a huge there was a different kind of environment that there will be a lockdown, and lockdown is a completely different kind of situation. And at the same time, there was a fake news circulated that the lions are roaming in the streets of Moscow in Russia. Okay, so it created lots of panic among the people. So it is very, very important for all the people that our first target was to create an awareness. We didn't do any fact checking thing. So we didn't do any kind of information check, or we didn't help also the media houses with the fact checking, like a fact checking agency. So we only created the awareness. We tried to create an awareness among the people, and we found that there is a huge impact, because our campaign, and when we initially created two posters, these 5Ds and 5Cs, and we tried to circulate among the people, but finally we found that it was not very much effective. And then only I decided that if we can take something very interesting, if we can reach the people with in a very interesting way, then it will be helpful for the people also, and will be able to change the behavior of the people, because changing behavior is not at all an easy task, right? So we selected this cartoon as a medium, and we reach thousands and thousands of people with these cartoons. And I am very happy to share that not only in the country but also in abroad, this entire campaign gave a new way to look into the information.
Yeah. So while working on this campaign, I believe you have worked with many media organizations in Assam. So, I mean, as far as launching this campaign or making this campaign successful and to reach out to the people, what exactly was the response of the newspapers or other media organizations which you approached or which decided to join hands with you in this campaign?
Yeah, when we just decided to launch this campaign, so immediately I wrote to the highest heated news portal of the Eastern India, not only in Assam or Northeast, but in the Eastern India, that is Northeast now. So they have a huge reach. So I called the editor-in-chief, who was also formerly the editor of the Hindustan Times of many editions. And so he immediately agreed with that. So we got a digital platform, that is number one. Apart from all our social media handling. So we got a news portal, and after that I requested the executive editor of the Assam Tribune. So Assam Tribune is the most circulated paper in the northeastern region, and so I requested him, and immediately he discussed with the editor-in-chief, and then immediately they agreed to publish all the cartoons every day. So for 30 days from April, 1st of April, and we started with April Fool cartoon, okay, on 1st of April. And from 1st of April to 30th of April, it was published in the Assam Tribune, and also it was carried in the Northeast now, the cartoon, along with around 300 to 400 analysis, and also the fake news, and also means authentic information. We just we wrote 30 articles also with the cartoon, and we got a huge response from all this from both the media. And we found that in particularly in the news portal and in our social media handling, every day nearly means more than means nearly 10,000 people every day, they go through this curtain, and also they reacted on that. And after completion of 30 days campaign in the Assam Tribune, we received many mails and also WhatsApp messages that why we do not continue this campaign for another month. But it is very difficult. So continuing a campaign for 1 month was difficult, but I think it is enough to give a rough idea on the media literacy and the fake news, and I think we could create an awareness among the people. And so later we have to think that in a different way, if we can go through, if we can reach to the people in a different, using different media or blended approach.
I want to raise a point here. We all know that there are certain news organizations, mainstream news organizations, which have been involved in fake news. I mean, it's difficult to say whether they do it deliberately. In many cases, we presume that some of the organizations do it deliberately because they wanted to serve a vested interest by spreading a fake news. Sometimes it may happen that can be by mistake, wherein they were not sure whether this information is accurate or not, and still they took the risk to broadcast a news on this. Now, the problem here is that if a mainstream news organization is itself involved in fake news, now what is the apparatus before the common people to actually check to make out that this information is not actually correct?
See, there is actually I have noticed that in many television channels also, as you know, that we have a huge number of television channels, more than 900 television channels we have, and out of them, nearly 50% are based on news and current affairs. So to break a news, many news channels, many television channels, I have particularly noticed that they broadcast some fake news also. And after that, when they got some information or reaction from the people, they immediately change the news, or they also apologize. Many times they apologize also in their screen that they gave that earlier news was a wrong news. See, there are lots of media houses who are working on this, and it is very important actually. I believe that there are so many organizations also who are doing fact checking, like Boom Live. Then Times of India has also their own system. Then News Checker, and also we have the Press Information Bureau fact check posts. Then Webcoof. right? Then there are lots of organization. Alt news was also very, very popular during this time, and it was actually required, because that it is very difficult to identify that whether an information is fake or that is an authentic information. As I given the earlier means I told earlier also, that when the WHO protocol was circulated and viral in the social media, so I personally received 3-4 messages from the editors of Assam, of different newspapers, and they were asking that whether it is a fake news or it is an authentic information. So that is why it is very, very important. But there was also a means there was a means always a breaking news for breaking news and to get the TRP. And I don't know why they are running after TRP or the bark rating, because during this time of lockdown, so there is no meaning basically. And it was it means very serious issue for all the news agencies, or all the news media outlets. And at the same time, that I'm very happy that lots of media houses also took that responsibility to check the fake before they broadcast or before they circulate in their media outlets.
Yeah. One of my colleagues in DME Media School, Yashaswika Yadav, has asked that how effective media literacy is in combating this fake news problem.
See, media literacy is very, very important, because without a media literacy, we are unable to create that awareness, or unable to literate the people. As I told, I am just giving the reference frequently that we do not have a homogeneous society in the country. Our society is very, very heterogeneous, and more particularly, if we discuss about from the perspective of the digital literacy, then digital literacy is very, very important. And because many people, I personally, I can give you an example that my father is a newly digital literate person. He's of around 80 years of old. So one day I just found that he just shared a video which is not of a very good taste. It happened with my father. Okay, so immediately, because he stays in our hometown, I immediately called my brother to remove that particular post from his timeline. So it is not intentional many a time, but it is only because that they are not aware. So media literacy or digital literacy is very, very important. And without digital literacy, the fake news in the pandemic or information pandemic cannot be curbed.
Yeah. One of our participants, Sudhir Kumar, has asked that whether there is a need to bring some cyber laws exclusively to deal this problem.
See, again, the debate has come here of Article 19(1)(a) of the Constitution. So we have that freedom of speech and expression, and at the same time, we should be very, very aware of this. So cyber laws, and only based on these cyber laws and other provisions of the Indian Penal Code, or other provisions of the telecom regulatory laws. So already nearly thousands of people already arrested by different state governments. I could give you one example that in Assam, nearly 100 people were arrested, and more than 1,000 young boys were given counseling in the police stations. Okay, and in Mumbai, also in Maharashtra, police arrested lots of people only because of spreading fake news or misinformation. So that is why any cyber law, as I told earlier, that the laws are associated, but we do not have a direct laws. We do not have any means specific law about this. And I would like to give you another example only of the last year in 2019. The then Chief Justice of India, Ranjan Gogoi, headed bench refused to certain plea seeking a direction to the center to frame guidelines and laws to curb the fake news on the social sites by the Supreme Court of India. So Supreme Court of India, headed by the Chief Justice of India in last year in 2019 only, they refused to give a guideline to the government of India to create a guideline, specific guideline for the fake news.
One of the participants, my colleague in DME Media School, Mohit Kumar, has asked something related to this, that he has asked that if there is something in the IT Act dealing with the fake news, or I mean, do you feel that some modification or some amendment needs to be made in IT Act to make it more effective in dealing with this problem?
Actually, we never experienced with this kind of pandemic of misinformation before. So only because of this coronavirus or this COVID-19 that lots of fake news are viral and they are flooded in the social media. So this is a time actually we have to first study all the regulations of different countries. I have already mentioned that different countries have, even last year only, Singapore and Russia. So they passed the bill, and as per the law, if the posts are found to be provocative, okay, to Singapore's interests, in such case, the offender could face a jail term up to 10 years and a fine of 1 million Singapore dollar. So that was, so in Singapore, it is so tough and it is so strict. So we have to study first all the because this is a democratic country and we have also the media freedom. So we do not have a media freedom as per the Constitution of India, but we have the Article 19(1)(a) of the Constitution. So we have to study first and then only we should decide. But it is true that there should be something to regulate all this kind of crisis.
One of my colleagues in DAB Media School, Tinam Bora, she has asked that since fake news problem is more linked to the digital media, so what all can be done on the digital media platform per se to reduce this fake news issue?
Sorry, I couldn't get. Can you kindly repeat it again?
Yeah, I said that according to her, this fake news problem is more associated with digital media because most of the fake news is spread on the digital platform. So what all can be done to take care of this as far as the digital media or digital platform is concerned?
As I mentioned earlier also, that we have only ways that we have to literate digitally. So we have to create some awareness among the people who are newly digitally literate people. Okay, I am just mentioning again and again because they are the main source of misinformation, who spread misinformation or forwards misinformation. They are the newly digitally literate people. So there is the only way that we have to create an awareness only, and self-regulation is required. But self-regulation, for the self-regulation, you have to inform that these are the incidents. Means you have to give a kind of message matrix kind of thing to help the people to literate digitally, the common people, that this is the bad habit and these are the consequences. So this is a good habit and these are the benefits. So the benefits should be very, very clear, and the consequences of the bad habit should also be very, very clear.
Yeah, my colleague Yashasika Yadav has asked another question. She has asked that is there any difference between misinformation and disinformation? Because a lot of time we use these two words interchangeably. So whether they have the same meaning or is there any difference between the two?
There is a very thin line difference. of both the term misinformation and disinformation. So misinformation refers to the false or inaccurate information deliberately created to deceive others. And disinformation is also about false information deliberately created to harm a person. So that is the difference. It is basically deliberately create to deceive others, that is a misinformation. And if you are deliberately create to harm a person or a social group or an organization, then it will be disinformation.
Yeah, in India, we find that a lot of political parties are involved in spreading fake news or this wrong information, unauthentic information. So, if there is no effective law and the policymakers or the senior politicians, the party office bearers, they themselves behave in an irresponsible manner and for a certain reason to achieve a certain goal, they spread misinformation, and the whole infrastructure in fact is created for spreading misinformation or for spreading fake news. Now, what is the way out in such a situation?
See, as I mentioned in my presentation also, that the misinformation is not only spread from the dark corner of the internet. So they are also created by some very renowned persons. Okay, they are created by political leaders, or they are created by celebrities or some other people. Who are who are the known faces in the society. So now the question is that all the media houses after 2014 election, I personally believe that all the media, all the political parties are in a race to digitally literate all their cadres. Okay,
Yeah.
so means they have to nowadays there will be a time definitely that to get a ticket of any assembly election or any other election. So you have to show that how many followers are there in your Twitter handle and how many followers are there in your Facebook page or in Instagram. Okay, so you have to means in the political parties should take that responsibility. The political parties should give the structure. The political parties should give the warning to all the people not to forward any unauthenticated information. But how it will be possible? It will be very, very difficult because a political cadre may be means he may not be a literate person also. Okay,
Yeah.
so he may be a means who is educated only in the primary school. So how they are going to create that awareness among the cadres? So that is important, but the political parties have to take the responsibility. I'm just giving you one example here. Even one as honorable member of the legislative assembly of our state, so she formally just announced that cow urine is the best medicine to cure coronavirus. Okay, so this kind of belief or superstition, if these are spread means made viral by the legislators or the political leaders of that kind of stature, then what you can say. But it is very, very important that the political parties should take that responsibility from themselves.
Yeah, one of the participants have asked that can you name certain websites, fact-checking websites to check the fake news?
See, the most easy way is the Google. So this is my personal experience, and there are lots of fact-checking things nowadays available, and methodologies are also available. But I would like to say that if in any information it is claimed that that information is given by such and such organization, then your first duty should be to go through their own website. Again, there may be a fake website. Then in that case, you have to go through the about us of that particular website. Then, or you have to study a little bit about whether that is a authentic website or not. Okay, so go through their website. That is the first thing. And if there's a video or image, then reverse image search in the Google image is the best way. But there are some other agencies too.
So one of the participant, Dr. Zakia Rahman, she has asked that how to make the youngsters aware about this problem of fake news. I mean, she might be wanting to ask as to, I mean, how can we make the students or the people, the youth of that group to be aware that this is some problem which they should be beware of.
See, this is very, very relevant question actually, and so we have to find out the best way to teach them how to use the digital media. But I believe that storytelling is a method. Storytelling is a method. If you can do some storytelling with them, and the consequences, as I told, that bad behavior and the consequences, that is very, very important. Uh, if you can tell a story with the bad behavior of bad use of internet or digital media and its consequences, and also at the same time, if you can give some examples of good behavior and the benefits, then they will be means they will be very happy, and they are intelligent enough. So if you give some examples through storytelling method, then it will be more easier to educate them.
Yeah, one of the participant, Daksh, has asked that how to make a difference, make a distinction between fact and opinion.
See, fact and opinion. Opinion, if it is quoted in any write-up or in any other media, if it is quoted, or if you are getting a direct bite from any person, then it will be opinion, right? But fact is fact. So information, fact is based on information, and opinion may not be based on information. For example, hot temperature can kill COVID-19. That is not a fact because it is not scientifically proven, but it may be an opinion. Or the number 9 game, why at 9 p.m., why you are going to light some candles or lights at 9 p.m. on 5th of April, that is 5 plus 4 is equal to 9 again. So that is opinion, that cannot be fact.
If I can raise your attention to one such incident, like there was difference of opinion as far as the fact is concerned, like pertaining to this COVID-19 only. A lot of information was being given by Government of India, the Ministry of Health or the Ayush Mantralaya. Some information is being given by the WHO. Some information is coming from ICMR. Some information is again coming from some authentic source, means any official source, official department, research agency. But then there is a difference of opinion or difference of interpretation on something, whether it's related to the medicine of the COVID-19 or any such thing. Now, a common man will always be confused whether what is the reliable thing which is to be accepted, whether something coming from the government or something coming from the ICMR, something coming from the WHO, particularly in a case wherein there are difference of opinion as far as the statements coming from these different organizations.
Right. Yeah, well, opinions may be different, but the fact is always fact, right? Professor Saxena has rightly mentioned that there may be differences of the opinion. So my opinion is different. For example, regarding these immigrants laborers, okay, there are lots of opinions, right? The fact is different. Fact is always fact.
No, but in fact, I was raising your attention to the thing that WHO said that a certain medicine cannot cure.
Yes.
But on the other hand, the US president, he says that he himself is using a certain medicine and that can cure. and then
Yes.
the government and the import of that medicine is being done from India to the US. Now, what
Yes.
the people should derive from this, whether this medicine is really curing the problem or it's simply
Mhm.
for prevention, or which information is to be accepted as authentic.
So see, during this time actually, we have to believe WHO, because that is the organization who is. We believe that they are the experts of handling this kind of situation. So we shouldn't go for that SCQ whether it will cure the coronavirus or not. So we have to go through their opinion. Okay, without I think we shouldn't believe on those opinion. uh, uh, a political leader may not be expert in medicine, right? So
Yeah.
we have to, this is a very common understanding we should have, that whether we should believe or not.
I draw your attention to another very interesting thing. WHO said that the masks are not required, as a safeguard in the COVID-19 disease pandemic. But then our Prime Minister said that we will not go by WHO has suggested, and he made the mask compulsory, make it legally mandatory for everybody. So again, there is a clash in the opinions. This stand taken by different organizations
But
and concerned
yeah,
agencies.
there is also a justification.
Yeah.
There is also justification. The justification is that the myth of mask is basically, if you are free from anything, means if you do not have any kind of symptom, if you do not have any sneezing, coughing, anything, then why to wear the mask? That is very true. That is the standpoint of the WHO. On the other hand, our Prime Minister is saying that if you have, and WHO has also said that if you any kind of symptom, if you have a running nose, if you have sneezing, if you have coughing, then wearing mask is compulsory. Okay,
Yeah.
so how can you literate our people? So that is why our Prime Minister said that it is compulsory for all.
Yes.
So this is a very good idea, because
Yeah.
otherwise it is very very difficult to make our people understand.
Yeah.
Okay, that it is important, and only when if you have any cough, then only use the mask, otherwise not. So it is very difficult, and there will be a chaotic situation in the country. So that
Yeah.
is why he has very simply mentioned that if you go out, then you have to wear mask, and this is compulsory.
So we are moving towards the conclusion of this program. And the most important thing, the takeaway from this webinar is that we all should be beware that this is a problem. We means we all media educators, media researchers, and media students. And we owe to the society, we have a responsibility to take this message forward to every member of the society to the extent we can manage with it, that this is something which everybody should be alert on, and nobody should accept any information simply for the reason that somebody has told about that, or some media organization has broadcasted, or it is being spread on the digital media. We should always try to cross check. And as Dr. Ankuran Datta emphasized again and again, media literacy is a real answer given the heterogeneous society that we have in our country. So I think that we all should take this whole campaign, whole movement forward, wherein the society can be saved from the hazardous impact of fake news. So thank you, Dr. Ankuran Datta, to spare so much time and explain everything to the benefit of all the participants in this webinar. I thank you to all the participants who decided to join in this session from different parts of the country and make this whole session very fruitful. So from DME Media School and Delhi Metropolitan Education side also, I thank you all to make this webinar a real success. Thank you all.
Can I